Today we are learning that Israel has accepted a deal that would bring about a 60-day ceasefire in its war against Hamas. President Trump first announced the deal last night on his Truth Social account, saying Israel agreed to the deal after talks between the two countries. However, Israel had not confirmed the deal until today. Speaking in Estonia, Israel's foreign minister said the country is serious in its desire to reach a ceasefire and hostage deal. Meanwhile, Hamas says it is reviewing the deal but has not said whether it would accept it. Right now, we'd like to bring on Daniel Flesch from the Allison Center for National Security. Daniel, as of right now, we don't know the details of this deal. What would both sides have to do to agree to a ceasefire?
Well, good evening, Mark. From the Israeli side, they've maintained two primary objectives since the beginning of the war. One is the defeat of Hamas, the removal of it as certainly a military force and also a political force in Gaza, and the retrieval of the hostages, both those who are still believed to be alive and those who are confirmed dead. So from Israel's perspective, they want the hostages out and they want Hamas to surrender. From Hamas's perspective, they want to survive. And that means the bare minimum, they want to be a force in Gaza, and their big leverage here are the hostages. So we have always been at impasses. It's always been Hamas not wanting to agree too much because they want to, again, stay alive effectively and as a governing force in Gaza. And their main cards to play have been hostages. So it remains to be seen how this plays out going forward. But certainly Hamas's initial reaction of rejecting the ceasefire was unsurprising.
We heard from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu earlier today, who essentially said Hamas must cease to continue. Let's take a listen.
I'm telling you, there will be no Hamas. There will be no Hamastan. We're not going back to that. It's over. We'll release all our hostages, and we will defeat Hamas. There will not be Hamas.
So even if a ceasefire is accepted, is a long-term peace deal negotiable?
You can't have peace with Hamas. Every Israeli knows that. Those who didn't know it before October 7th certainly know it after the fact. So the question is, for Israel's security reasons, can they actually allow a deal that has Hamas retain some sort of presence in Gaza, both Israel being able to go back into Gaza if it needs be for its own security purposes. That is part of the sticking point here as well. But no Israeli and no American, for that matter, should be under any illusion that peace is possible with Hamas.
And we know in Israel right now, anti-war protests have started up again recently. What kind of impact will they have on the Israeli government's decisions regarding the war?
Well, you've had these protests continuing for some time, if not even over a year. Israel had wall-to-wall support for its operation against Iran, for the war against Hezbollah. For Gaza, it's been a bit of a different story because of the presence of the hostages. But that these protests have resumed is unsurprising. Israel is a very vibrant democratic society, a very liberal society, and so people exercise their right to protest and to make their voices heard, and this is unsurprising. But then again, Israel is unified in its need to win this war, both defeating Hamas and retrieving the hostages. But the Israeli government will respond to these protests in some part. But we're going to see next week when the Prime Minister comes here to Washington, D.C., what kind of negotiations take place with the President to see that this war comes to an end.
We'll leave it there for now. Daniel Flesch, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.